Welcome back. If you just joined us, it is still Daybreak Africa, reaching you from Ondo City, the sunshine state of the nation. Before we went on the break, we did tell you that today is a serious day. When you get to hear the topic and you get to see the guests we have on set today, then you will understand what is going on. Now, let me start by quoting the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, who says that the status of a woman is the status of democracy, and any threat to a woman or the girl child is a threat to democracy, peace, and stability. To further discuss this issue today, we shall be taking a look at the topic, Women's Participation in Politics, a call for action or not in Nigeria. Now, let me tell you, we have our two guests in the house to do justice to this topic. I'll start with the lady. She is Dr. Bridget Itunu Awosika. She has a Bachelor of Education at the prestigious Obagiri University. She obtained a Master's and PhD degrees from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, respectively. She is the current Dean, School of Vocational and Technical Education, Adeyemi Federal University of Education, Ondo State. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you so much.
Very good morning to you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Let's now go to our gentleman. He is Mr. Odebode Idowu. He is a lecturer of the same university, Afwed, Ondo State. He has a Master's in Education in Early Childhood. He has Master's Education in Early Childhood Education. He has a Bachelor's degree in Education in Politics and Political Science, I beg your pardon. I hope I got that right.
Yes.
And is the former HOD, Primary Education Studies of the Adeyemi College of Education, the Federal University in Ondo State. So I appreciate you for being on the show this morning.
I'm happy to be your midst.
Yes.
A very good morning. It's a very big pleasure having two great individuals on our set today.
Most definitely. Now, it's important for us to take a look at this topic, the reason why we had to bring a man and a woman, so we can get the perspective from both sides, so there is no bias on the discussion today. So I would want to start with the lady by letting us understand the type of politics that is played in terms of women in Nigeria. We want your sentiment. We want to start from the basics by you telling us your sentiment from your emotion, how you view politics and women in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Talking of women and politics in Nigeria, you agree with me that women in Nigeria haven't had it as good as it should be. You see, there is a Beijing declaration in 1995 that categorically states that there should be 30% representation of women in parliament, either at the local government level, either at the state or the federal. Well, you find out that it is not so. As we speak, women just have 6.7% representation, even lower than that. And why? It has to do with the cultural background from where we're all coming. In the Nigerian setup, our culture dictates a lot of things against the woman. The man is seen as the head of the family. Even at work, if you have a male boss, there is a tendency to take instructions from that male boss and carry out the instructions to the letters. If it is the other way around, the woman is a leader, is a boss. You see men who are supposed to be subordinate trying to practice some kind of insubordination. There are a lot of cultural things, some misnomers, some men who don't seem to have much value system that recognizes the woman, that makes them to know that the woman is supposed to be handled with care, with respect. You see them, some women who batter their wives at home, when they get to work and they see another female figure, it's like they want to bring who they are at home to the office. And this has got a lot of negativity on the involvement of women in politics in Nigeria. Even a few women who stick their necks and have decided that yes, I am a human being too. I am a Nigerian. I should have a say in what is going on. You see how they handle them. We have had instances when one woman, I won't want to mention her name, aspired to become a presidential candidate. This woman definitely had a campaign manager or a director of her campaign team. She must have gone around the states in Nigeria. She must have had people who were representing her at the ward level, state level, who have gone around with her to campaign. But on the day of the primaries, this woman scored 1 vote, which, you know, definitely is the vote she gave to herself. Because you must vote for yourself before you ask people to vote for you. So which means all the people who have gone around with her, from DG to whatever PA to advisors and so on, all of them abandoned her at the most crucial time during that process. So you see that our culture hasn't been fair to the woman. And what are the reasons? Everybody now started saying, how can my wife be a president? Will I now be first man? You know, the wife is the first lady when the husband is the head. So when the woman is now the head, you see men asking themselves, so I will now be the first man? So this sentiment, cultural sentiment, that is so much unfair to the woman, like the woman, look at what happens when a man passes on. The woman is inherited, like they will inherit his house, inherit his business, so his wife also inherited. A younger brother to the husband who has been coming home to say, auntie, I can't, my brother is not home. Can I get transport fare from you? The man is now becoming her husband because she will be inherited, like they will inherit this chair, inherit the stool over there. So it's so, you know, it's so, it doesn't gladden anyone's heart except people who are not right thinking. You look at what happens in the across the globe. You see how women are given almost equal right with the man in other climes, but it's not like that in Africa. Particularly, it is not like that in Nigeria. There is no tribe, no tribal questioning about this. Whether you are Hausa, whether you are Igbo, whether you are Yoruba, Nigerian culture stipulates that the woman is just like a little bit over and above a property item.
All right.
That is a very serious big
very big
Micheal,
one. Very big
I'm
one.
telling you, I'm having goosebumps already. But we will want to get your reaction on the topic. So we want you to react either to what Madam has said or what your take is on this matter.
To some extent, that we have to buttress what the doctor said. Naturally, women in Africa have not been forgotten and have not been forgiven the sins we assume that they have committed. And probably that has been part of what they have been, you know, suffering from the societal political scene. Now, politics is just, you know, allocations of resources within an environment. Now, who gets what? How do I share it? The resources of the society. Now, with the mindset of African men, with the issue that happened in the Garden of Eden, since that very time, we have seen that we are not trusting women. And since men assume that they are not trusting them, now in this present time, they find it very difficult to see them as someone that, you know, they can
A trusted manager.
They can be trusted
With positions.
or that they can withstand the pressure within the society. And in politics, since it is who gets what, how do we share the resources? It comes with contentions. And since there are also an activities and actions involved, because the politics of Nigerian environment is how to involve rigorous activities, meeting upon meeting during the night, you know, you hold secret meetings, so many issues like that. And at a point, women in society are being regulated. They are under the control of men. They want to see to the welfare of the family. They want to see to the welfare of the children, and the school of their children. A moment you have to attend meetings, you have to abandon the responsibility at home for the sake of Nigerian society. And when your husband is telling you, my dear, and Yoruba usually love to say, "Nko to ba da, omo to ba da, ti ya ni. Omo to ba da, ti baba, omo to ba da, ti ya ni." And when you have in an environment that they likely to ridicule your personality, and you are likely not to be, you know, valued at the end of whatever thing that I've done in the home front, then they must be very careful to also ensure that they want to go into the public place to play a role that they are going to honor them. Personally, women have not been so valued politically in Nigeria. They have not been honored as expected. We are the fault of it because we don't trust our wives. We don't give them the opportunity that the backing they are expecting from men. Like today, the Obagiri of a thing want to contest for the elections in Edo State. Now they have rolled out the governorship candidates. They have 17 political parties that have, you know, presented candidates for the election. 16 men. Just only one woman contested. How will it how will the person win an election when you knew that you are going to hold series of meetings? Money involves, people will deceive you because they don't know whether if they are given that opportunity you will not be deceived. So when you are in this kind of environment, then the women may likely not to. Of course, generally in the world, it's expected that by the United Nations, because Nigeria is also a treaty member of the United Nations. Meanwhile, whatever thing the United Nations also, you know, has as an intention, Nigerian governments also obey it. But obey in principle, but in practice, they pretend as if they want to obey. But in the sense of it, women will not have the opportunity to get that 30%.
All right. This is getting very interesting. Now, I want to believe that politics is a game of interest. You have to campaign, you have to do a lot of things. And at the end of the day, whoever emerged victorious, whether by crook or by hook, is declared a winner. We have the part of you being given an office by appointment, and we have to go to the other part, being elected. Now, women being restricted, you both have said, I've talked about cultural restrictions, which we feel like is a very big, especially in Nigeria as a nation, as at this moment. A lot of things, right from the home, the family factor is there, the society factor is there. Now, we have a lot of things. Somebody said on this program once upon a time, said it's not even a situation of men not supporting women. We have women not supporting women. This is a very big factor too, because when you talk about election, women also are voters. So what do you think is really going on? Is it a sensitization issue? Is it what Mr. Idowu said, that they have not been forgiven their sin, while quoting the scriptural aspects of it, or what they have done in the past? What is really going on? Why is it that even women are not supporting women in the political sphere of our nation?
Thank you very much. I want to say that the issue of what happened in the Garden of Eden is not even part of this. Because the Garden of Eden, we have not been able to confirm it's in Africa or Nigeria. So why will a sin committed by one woman somewhere, sometime, now become the problem of all women in Nigeria, one single nation? I don't believe that. What I believe is this: we're talking of our culture, and we're talking of, you know, in the past, what he said, that the woman is supposed to take care of the home and so on and so forth, is not only the woman that should take care of the home. Okay. Nobody came into this world with one spoon here and knife here and a vegetable. No. Whatever you are to do in the house or at work is not done by your male or female, you know, the organs. No, it's done by what is here, which you interpret it, you know, in concrete terms. In your administration, in your thinking, in your policies, and how you follow up. What I am saying again is that you have a point that women, generally, women most of the times are the enemies of themselves. I entered this place, somebody was admiring me, I was also admiring her. By the time a third lady joins the two of us, she either decides to go with me, or she decides to go with the other lady. And now there will be stories, because I think naturally women are jealous of each other. It's like, how can she? She's even dark. How can she be there? I am fairer in complexion. She's not even as educated as myself. She's not even as beautiful as me. How can it be her all the time? So that one is there. But even men too are jealous of women. You see, I think a major problem with our men and the women is that, you see, in those old days, when there were roles that culture placed on the doorpost of the woman. This is what you have to do as a woman. You go to the kitchen, you give birth, you nurture the children. Your husband goes around to bring money and other things that you will need in the home. That time is far, far gone. We are in a world of women emancipation. But there is this fear of emasculation in our men. My husband wants me to go to work. We are paying school fees. We do all this by ratio. At times it could be 60 from him, 40 from me, when we're going to pay school fees. On top of that, it's me that knows when a button has dropped off, when a zipper is broken, when the socks is worn out, all of those ones I do. By the time we put pen on paper, and I do all of those things, and now I quantify them, you know, money-wise, you will see that I have even spent more than the extra 20% that my husband paid in school fees. And now this man will feel that I come back from work, he sits down there watching the television, reading newspaper, it means that rushes to the kitchen. I make meals for all of us, himself and the children. When I do that, I prepare the children for school tomorrow, even prepare him for work, the man. And at the end of the day, we still share this. So if women are becoming emancipated, we are switching our so-called, you know, pronounced, prescribed roles, gender roles. We are switching. I don't sit at home like my grandma. I go to work to bring some, you know, income into the family for us to live above poverty line. Then my husband cannot be behaving like his own grandfather, who will be the one to go to the farm, till the ground, bring proceeds, bring food, sell cocoa, bring money. No, you see, there is need to have a midpoint. This midpoint, the men are not ready to move towards it. They want the women to keep doing all of this financially, you know,
and every other aspect.
and other aspects. And at the end of the day, they must ever remain subdued. That is the challenge.
Now, talking about being subdued, it's I want to ask now, Nigeria is the most populous black nation anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Out of every 10 human that you see anywhere in the world, initially it was just one Nigerian out of 10, but now we have like out of every 10, you have 3 being Nigerians. Now, apart from that, women, the female population, make up 49.46% according to women's representation by the United Nations. Now, the question is, why at this time in our history, women representation is still very low? Can we take a look at the problems that have subdued women? Going by what Dr. has said, she painted a very clear picture that anyone can follow. If we decide to share the bills, if you look at the other side, beside the bills that are being shared, the woman does this, the woman does this, and that, by the time you correlate or you quantify all of it, she does more than the man. Now, if we begin to look at representation, why is it still low? Even if we know that women do so much.
Now, I'm very grateful for that point, man. Now, like I said initially, politics is who gets what. Now, police, Greek word is the word politics migrated from. Plato and Aristotle, they are the ones that originated the ideas of politics. Now, if the society is one that determines to some extent of how to negotiate, distribute, do all sorts of political things, what is the place of that woman in that society that the politics is to be played.
Tell us.
Now, in Nigerian context, woman, from all angles, we have been affected by our religion. From religion angle, what is the place of women? What if I'm a Christian? In some churches and an African man, they believe that women has no role to play in some positions. Now, and I said initially that if peradventure we have been experiencing a lot of things, women's mistakes, let's use the word like that, from the biological aspect of it, that dovetailed into what is happening in larger society. Now, if a woman, the first thing that I said, that probably she made a mistake, that men of today are supposed to have forgiven them. We didn't. We are still remembering that this woman may made a mistake again. And as a result of that one, when that comes to the larger society, I also being careful to say, okay, fine, you want to come and contest for this thing. Now, I'm a man. I have a wife at home. Now, as she's going out, I may tell her, be careful of who to associate with. Be careful of where to go to. Be mindful of men you are going to interact with. Now, this going out with consciousness of my instructions and the labeling is going to get from the society if he's so much committed to the game. Now, if you now find yourself in that kind of environment, that's why I'm going, closing to men that are playing the politics as expect them as a Greek gladiator. There's some men and women within that community fold will be labeling the person. And when women themselves, they want to be extraordinarily careful of the names that they are not being bearing, society wants to give to them, they be cautious of the length at which they must participate and involve in active politics. Now, at the grassroots level, education is very key. Now, most of the women at point of women really participating is at the grassroots level. In Nigeria today, if we want to be heard and to be given that opportunity, at the grassroots, they must play the active politics. Now, at the grassroots, they are busy, to some extent, focusing on home front issues. Now, when they want to do those things, probably let's look at the percentage of people that are even participating in politics. They are illiterate ones. So, and they can easily be deceived by men to say, okay, come and take 50 naira, come and take 100 naira. And by the time they go, they give them money. There's some Awosika cannot go out now with 100 naira, 200 naira, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira because people want to campaign, want to give to me. No. But because men can have understood who they are, the kind of the nature they have as an emotional person, they can easily be deceived. Now, if you are campaigning, like what we were saying the other time, now I want to campaign. I want to contest for an election. I have a wife at home. Now, I've been given, because of the societal stereotype, that men are supposed to be the ones doing some certain things for the whole. Now, my involvement in the society is going to be more felt than women. And in that regard, my involvement, since my involvement in society has been known, I have more influence on women in the society. So when time comes for us to vote and they want to campaign, women will not be able to withstand it, such that they'll be winning an election. And if they win an election whatsoever in any parameter of any level they want to win, it has to be supported by men.
I wish we could go on and on. We need to take a short break now. But when we return, because I can see the body language of Dr. Awosika, she's twisted in a chair like this. She
just trying to contain herself.
We'll take a break. When we return, we'll be having a reaction from Dr. Awosika. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's the Daybreak Africa if you just joining us. And today we have before us a very interesting topic talking about women in politics. If they are given the right attention as the male counterpart have been given. And before we went on the break, Mr. Idowu was saying something, and the other guest in the studio, Dr. Mrs. Awosika, was saying, with her body language though, she doesn't really agree with him. Now, before I pose the question, I know you have a lot of things to really react to, but he said something that really caught my attention. He was talking about mistakes, talking about things the women have done, not being trusted enough. Of course, we've seen men too, given offices, have them flop the office, they've not done well. So, If that's the yardstick, Dr. Mrs. Awosika, what is going to be your reaction?
Thank you so much. You already have spoken. You have seen my body language when he was talking. You see, he was talking as if what happened in the Garden of Eden is a plague that must be on every woman, and they must carry that stigma about, and it must haunt them for life. The question now is, how will you say you have 5 children and one has committed an offense, and now every of your children has to bear the grunt? I don't understand this Garden of Eden sin. We're not even in the church. Because if the Muslims will give their own accounts, they will also tell you how one woman helped Muhammad, and an older woman, much older than him, when he had issues, it was the woman that helped him and eventually married her. So how are we going to reconcile that one with the Garden of Eden story? You see that they don't flow. Because this politics of the thing we are talking in, it involves women who are Muslims, who are even in Puda. They still practice politics. Igbo women who have similar situations compared to Yoruba women, they practice politics. So that's why I said we should leave out religion. We should talk of, yes, there are stereotypes. The stereotypes are supposed to have changed. This is the 21st century, but it hasn't changed. Imagine my colleague saying when his wife is showing interest in politics and she needs to go and attend meeting, he will tell her, be careful the man you're close to. Be careful the man that talks to you. When the man is leaving home to go and attend political meetings, will the wife give the same warning? Be careful of women that you will discuss with. You see, this still shows the tutelage that men think women must remain in forever and ever. If a woman was born, she grew, she was nurtured by her parents to the point that she became a wife and even a mother. And now she is going out. The husband will say, be careful the kind of men you will talk with, you will move. I got so nauseated when he was saying all of that. You see, you must know the person you want to marry. You must know the person you want to marry. She also must know you to some level. There must be some level of trust. Because if a woman is going to be promiscuous, she wants to be an infidel, she doesn't have to be a politician to do that. Many women in their offices, they do a lot of nasty things. And if you want to place this on a scale of 10, I think 7 men out of 10 are more of, I don't want to use a vowel language now. They are not as trustworthy in their marriage compared to women. So it's not about if somebody is in politics, she'll be promiscuous. It has to do with the person you married. If she sells groundnut, she can still practice infidelity. Because people will buy the groundnut from her. It's not only female that will be buying. So I do not believe, and I don't think we need to hold all of these things with even pinch of salt any longer. They should be long thrown away because we need to move ahead. You see, a woman who is a wife to somebody, who is a mother to children, who has gone to school, she's supposed to be cerebral. She has a job, she's a career person. Now she's showing interest in politics. So whatever happens to her husband, to her children, male and female, to even families that she has come from and she's married to, should be her business. And there is nothing anybody in Nigeria. My salary is determined by the politicians.
Now, before you further go on, I want to chip in something, just like a case study. I'm very sure Mr. Idowu also want to talk about it. Talking about the situation of Beta Edu. She's a woman that's supposed to buttress the interest of women in politics, though our own was part like an appointment. But we have issues, though we have men too also sowing their hands into a lot of malpractices, political-wise, embezzling money. But now, we are trying to buy a face for the women. And a woman has been given an opportunity, and this happened. Don't you think this is a very big blow to the womenhood?
Thank you. That cannot be a big blow to the women folk.
Why not?
Because there are a lot of precedents. Is Okonjo Iweala not a woman? Is she not a woman? This lady that was in NDLEA, Dora Akunyili, was she not a woman? So what are we talking? Better Edu. If you say those women, they have their antecedents. They have their history. What is the history of Better Edu? I think it was after she fucked up in the ministerial appointment. They now went to bring the old video clips of years back of Better Edu. To me, I don't want to use foul language on anyone. You will not tell me she's a home girl. You will not tell me she's a well-cultured girl. But she's a girl who went to one church to pray and to tell the pastor, if I'm a minister in so time, I'm going to come here to, give testimony. And she did same. So that one, a lot of things could have passed, that you and I do not know. But by the time they brought those video clips, you will agree with me that in the first instance, she was a mismatch for the position they gave her. So that is where precedence counts a lot. There is nothing, we all dance, we all, but if you get to a place and a woman is dancing in the manner she danced in those video clips, would you want to recommend the person to be a minister?
I think that's something I want Mr. Idowu to really say something about.
Yeah, we want your reaction to the situation.
Anyway, whatever we were discussing here, I understood we are trying as much as possible to ensure that we support women, so also get more, awareness, get more involving in the process of sharing the national resources of the country from the grassroots.
Very true.
Now, whatever things in any society, it is going to be based on previous knowledge. Now, every society is continuous, and since society is continuous, what
does that mean?
I was about to ask for that.
Now, in African context, the continuation of telling you stories about what has happened, and if history is to the people, and knowledge to the individual, people will know knowledge of their past will suffer amnesia. Now, meaning that every one of us, every human being in society must learn from history. And that history must continue to guide you so that we not fall. Now, I said that it is not going to be good things of us today to use something that has happened to judge women of today.
Exactly.
But to some extent, those things are what we are using to also guide us. So if I'm married to a woman and I'm also a man of the house, to know that I don't want people to ridicule you, I don't want you to be mixed up in the position appointment you might be given. I'm also guide. So I've understood that this is the positions of men outside there. They can test your integrity, they can test your ability. They can test your strength. And when you now have a man that understood the terrain of how men behave in politics, then you are there to also guide. In the case of Peter Edu, now depends on who brought in. Okay, because he's supposed to be a woman that's supposed to have her own track record.
Of course.
And if the politics is just to compensate, in Nigerian context, as we usually do, compared to what is happening in other nations of the world, we use our politics as somehow to compensate son of someone that have assisted me, son daughter of someone that have paid me. And at the end of the day, and we know that in Nigeria of today, the environment at which we play politics is not being controlled. The control mechanism system in Nigerian politics is very weak, and everybody believes that if I get there, I may get off over whatever I'm able to take, since I have my godfather over there. That if whatever I'm able to do here, they will back me up. Thank God for the press. If not because of the press, probably we wouldn't have had anything about it, and you just go on like that. But one thing is this: is just that every person, wherever we find ourselves, we must ensure that people are watching. We must also ensure that we are having people that want to take us as a role model. So if you are thinking about that one every time of our day, they'll be cautious of making some errors that will be much more publicized in such a way that our personality will be dented.
Okay, we've talked about Better Edu, but we know that to every coin there are two sides. Now let's take a look at the benefits of women in politics. We want to educate Nigerians about the benefits of women in politics. Again, you talked about playing politics at the grassroots, the fact that the women who play politics at the grassroots are not educated enough, so they may not be able to attain to higher positions, as it were. But again, if you look at our history, women have always been in the forefront of change. In politics, in the grassroots, you see women in the forefront. They are always there. They outnumber the men. When it comes to voting, as it were, when you count the ratio of women to men, you often see women come out in different sizes, ages, with the stick, with their cane. They come out to vote. But somehow, when it comes to representation, when the position is attained, we don't find them anywhere. So how do we let those in politics, men, we're speaking to the men, know and value the place of women in politics? Or are we saying that there is no positive point to look at towards women being in politics? I'm going to start with Doctor. What are the positive roles, or what are the positive achievements that can come to Nigeria if women are given the opportunity to assert themselves in position of power in politics and otherwise?
Thank you so much. Yeah. We have said in this room today that we have women role models who have been given opportunities, and they have put such opportunities to the best of usage, and we are proud of them. We have mentioned two. We mentioned Okonjo Iweala, we mentioned Dora Akunyili, Obiese Kusili is one. But if we go back to history, what about Mrs. Fumilayo Kuti? What about Moremi Ajasuru? What about this lady in the East who made sure that the killing of twins was Mary Slessor and the Igbo ladies that joined her? There is this Eno, is it Eno or Edo? She is one of the people that took part in that struggle. The case is this. Even the grassroots people we're talking about, they have this song they were singing. I was passing by and I waited. I had to listen very well to the song. Even the grassroots people we are saying are not literate. They are literate. It's that they didn't go to school. Everybody is literate because they can think, they can do things on their own, and they do many of the things very well. They have native intelligence. These people were singing. Kosobinrin, kosibo, obinrinde, ibo yapa. They were using that one to show the politicians how important women are to politics and politicking. They were saying without women, no votes. Once women come around, they'll be voting in even multiples. And this is a fact. Go to the church, more women than men. Go to any political rally. The women are the ones, you see them, you start thinking, did they go specially to a place to learn all these songs? By the time you are seated, they look at you and they have coined many songs for you. They have their roles that they are playing. They need to be encouraged. That's where we are going. Women need this social support from government, from good-spirited individuals, from their husbands, from their children, from their neighbors. We need this social support that will encourage us. The little we think they are doing, let's encourage them so that they will know that the little they are doing right now is highly valued, and that we are sure they can do more.
Because of time, please, we want your own opinion as we begin to round up.
It's good. Thank God again. Women should be given opportunity more than before. But now we beg women. Women need to be begged so that we can give full support to our women folk in our community, in our neighborhood, in our churches. Let us support them. We should try as much as possible to do away with derogatory statements against women. People carry rumor. They give truth stories about women folk. And all these things, you have to desist from it. You have to trust them. Even on campus, at a point, our students will want to, contest for certain positions. They're afraid of being toasted, they're afraid of labeling, and you have to come on, encouraging them here and there. And that's what part of what we have been saying. Now, men, if you don't trust them, you don't want to support them. If you don't want our wife to be, labeled outside, we want to discourage them from going to the public place. So, in other words, since we understood our women, we must also give them more encouragement, give them boldness and confidence, build their self-esteem, give them more values, that they can do it. In addition to that, just that the community level, people should be more involved. I need to set up a grassroots mobilization that will encourage women to continue participating in politics, probably at the landlord association level, and gather from that end. Then there should be more need for non-government organizations to create more platform to sensitize women at the grassroots, because they are the one the politicians usually making use of, and they need to be sensitized, because oftentimes during election that you see the gladiators conveying vehicles, parking vehicles, giving them money, and all of them will have to migrate and use them as a tool. Women are supposed not to be seen as an instrument to get to power. So if you are having all this in our environment, the men are the architect of all this abnormality. You have to be careful, you have to support women, and you have to love them the more.
To add to what you said, according to report, Nigerian Parliament bias against gender equality and affirmative action frustrates progress. A predominantly male parliament, it has consistently opposed legislation that seeks to grant women equal rights. It has voted against bills aimed at implementing affirmative action for women. If you've just joined the show, you've missed the conversation. It is important for you to link up on YouTube, on all our social media platforms, to watch the entire interview. So with that being said, we want to appreciate our guest for being on the show today. Let me do the honors once again. Our guest is Mr. Odebode Idowu. He is a lecturer at Ondo State, and of course, Mama in the house, Dr. Bridget Itunu Awosika. She is a lecturer also at Afwed. She's the current Dean, School of Vocational and Technical Education of that institution. We want to appreciate both of you for coming on the show. I want to assure you that we will want to see you often on the show, probably on other topics, and we know from today that you definitely do justice to it. I am Anire Binitie. Thanks for watching.
Thank you once again to our beautiful guest for coming on the program. I will say this and I will leave it with this message. If you can trust your mother to be the one that bettered you and guided you to this point of your life and success, then women need to be given much trust to govern Nigeria, to govern society, and make it a better place for all of us. From us, I'll be saying goodbye.